Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back. Today I want to share a story with you that is a beautiful and tender reminder of something we often forget in our busy lives. Kindness doesn't always need grand words or big gestures. It's often felt in the quietest moments, in the simplest of actions, and it can forge a bond stronger than any words. This is the heartwarming story of Mercy, a cheerful worker whose daily smile created a connection that would one day save her life. Mercy worked at a large food factory. It was a bustling place, filled with the constant hum of machinery. But amidst the noise and the routine, Mercy was a ray of sunshine. She was known for her cheerful disposition and a smile that seemed to light up any room she entered. Every single morning, without fail, she would greet everyone she met, whether it was the managers in their crisp shirts, her fellow workers on the line, or even the security officer at the gate, Mr. Lawson. Everyone received her warm smile. She might have been just one person in a huge factory, but her positive energy was a constant, something people had come to expect and appreciate. One crisp winter evening, the day was winding down. After a long shift of packaging and sorting, Mercy was given one last task: to restock some supplies in the large storage room. The factory was in the process of closing, the rhythmic sounds of the machines slowly fading into silence. She moved quickly, aware that time was running out. She was so focused on her work, she didn't realize how much time had passed. Nor did she hear the heavy steel door of the storage room swing shut behind her with a dull thud. At first, she didn't panic. She thought maybe a gust of wind had caught it. But when she finished her task and turned to leave, the handle wouldn't turn. The door was locked. She tried again, pushing and pulling, but the door had clicked shut with a stubborn finality. A knot of panic began to tighten in her chest. She called out for help, her voice swallowed by the thick walls in the now empty factory. The once familiar space, now silent and deserted, started to feel like a tomb. The warmth of the day had vanished, and the storage room was frigid. A deep, biting chill crept into her bones, and she began to shiver uncontrollably. She threw her shoulder against the door again and again, but the cold was already seeping into her muscles, numbing her fingers and draining her strength. She knew she didn't have much time before the severe cold would overwhelm her. Desperate, she scanned the room for any source of warmth, any place to hide from the relentless cold, but there was nothing. Just cold concrete and steel shelves. She found a corner and huddled down, pulling her knees to her chest, trying to conserve what little body heat she had left. But it was a losing battle. Her vision started to blur at the edge, and a heavy weakness washed over her body. Mercy's strength was failing. The cold was winning. She slumped against the wall, her breath coming in shallow, frosty puffs. The darkness started to close in, and she felt herself slipping away. Meanwhile, outside the storage room, the factory was completely locked up for the night. The final shift workers had all gone home. Mr. Lawson, the security officer, was doing his final rounds. It was a routine he had done 1,000 times, checking locks, making sure everything was secure before he left for the night. But tonight, something felt different. As he walked past the main entrance, a thought struck him. Mercy hadn't greeted him on her way out. Normally, like clockwork, she would wave and call out a bright "Good evening, Mr. Lawson" as she left. But tonight, there had been nothing. He initially brushed it off. Maybe she left early or took a different exit. But the thought lingered, nagging at him. It just wasn't like Mercy to forget. Even to a security guard, she was always polite, always kind. He paused for a moment, listening to the silence of the empty factory. A strange feeling, an instinct, told him to double. He decided to walk her usual route one more time. He retraced the path she would take every day past the silent production lines, through the dimly lit halls. And that's when he saw it. The door to the large storage room was slightly ajar. This was unusual. That door was always supposed to be locked and sealed shut for the night. Mr. Lawson's heart skipped a beat. His instincts screamed that something was wrong. He rushed to the door and gave it a forceful push. It creaked open just enough for him to slip inside. And there she was, huddled in the corner, a small, still figure. It was Mercy. She was barely conscious, her face pale and her lips tinged with blue from the cold. He ran to her side, his heart pounding in his chest, and checked for a pulse. A wave of relief washed over him when he found she was still breathing, though her breaths were faint and shallow. Without a second to waste, he forced the heavy door all the way open and carefully carried her out of the freezing storage room into the warmer hallway. He immediately called for medical help and wrapped her in his own jacket and some blankets he found nearby, trying to restore her body heat. As the paramedics arrived and began to work on her, Mercy slowly started to regain consciousness. The first thing she saw was Mr. Lawson's face, etched with worry. Despite the haze she was in, she managed a weak, grateful smile. "You saved me," she whispered, her voice hoarse. Mr. Lawson smiled back, a deep, unspoken understanding passing between them. "You've always greeted me with kindness, Mercy," he said quietly. "Every single day. Today, I noticed you didn't. I had a feeling you were still here." Mercy blinked, still processing everything. "But how did you know?" "You're just the security officer." He shook his head gently. "It's not about titles or roles, Mercy. It's about the little things. Your smile, your greeting, The way you made my day, every day. I couldn't leave tonight without making sure you were safe." In that moment, Mercy felt a warmth spread through her chest that had nothing to do with the blankets. It was the warmth of human connection, of kindness from a person she never expected would notice her absence so profoundly. She realized then how powerful the smallest gestures could be, a simple hello, a daily smile. These weren't just pleasantries. They were threads that connected people, creating a safety net of community that transcended job titles and social roles. The moral of this story is a powerful one. Sometimes it takes only one act of kindness and caring to change a person's life. The smallest, most consistent acts of goodness can create an unspoken bond between people. A simple greeting, a warm smile, or just taking a moment to notice when someone is missing from their usual routine can make a world of difference. Compassion and care don't recognize titles or boundaries. It's a reminder that it's often not the grand, dramatic gestures that change the world or save a life. It's the small, everyday ones, a smile, a greeting, a genuine connection. Mercy and Mr. Lawson's story shows us that every act of kindness we share becomes a thread in the beautiful, unseen web of humanity, connecting hearts and building bridges of compassion that can, quite literally, make miracles happen. When we take the time to truly see and acknowledge others, we don't just spread warmth, we create a world where people look out for one another. Thank you for joining me on this heartfelt journey today. I hope this story inspires you to keep spreading kindness wherever you go, because you truly never know whose life your smile might touch, or even save. Let's all try to make the world a little warmer, one small act of care at a time. If this story moved you, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone to remind them that every small kindness matters. Thank you for watching. See you soon.